Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome to Survival on the Skinny with Stephen Kenny. Me. Alright. What we're going to go over today and what I'm going to show you how to do is how to build a twitch snare. Okay, that can be used on game. You can use it fishing. Okay, it's a very easy, very simple snare that can be used in multiple ways. Essentially what you're going to need, two sticks. A little fatter than an all beef hot dog, okay? One a little longer than the other. Two sticks. You're gonna need a piece of paracord. This piece about 5 feet long. Okay. Paracord, string, shoestring, they all work. And you will need a piece of snare wire. Okay. A great rule of thumb is go from fingertip to armpit with the length. Okay, and that's a great length right there. Essentially that's all you need. If you do not have if you do not have a piece of snare wire, you can take the inner strand of a paracord, fashion that into a noose, and use that as well. I always carry some wire with me just for snares and that purposes. So first things first, this kit, you want to build this at camp, around the campfire, and take it into the woods. At the end of the video I'll show you what I'm talking about, but build this at camp. This is going to go on the ground. This is going to hook to it. Your engine will be coming over top, which will be a sapling with a lot of spring to it. It'll come over top, hook to it, and your snare, your noose, will come off the side. Okay. This being the trigger, that snare gets hit, it releases and yanks up. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Our two pieces. Let's do the anchor first. Okay, this is what's going to go into the ground. This will hook to it. First things first, let's go ahead and put a 7-notch. Come in about an inch from the end and put a 7-notch right here, going back. Okay. If you do not have a saw, you can baton this, but I carry a multi-tool and it's always got a saw handy. But you can baton this using your knife and baton down. I'll show you how to do that too. You take your saw. You want to go down to about the heartwood, okay? You want to go down right there at the heart. Let's go a little deeper. You want this thing to have a good bite, so go down to about the heart. Then just take your knife, see that little cut right there? Just take your knife and take it down to that. Show you in a second why it's called a 7-notch, because once you are finished, it will look like a 7. And there we have it. I'll see why it's called a 7-notch. Looks like a 7. Okay, see it? Now on the other end of this is going to drive into the ground. That's blunt. So on this end, just take it to a point. Okay. It's not rocket surgery. However how you want to do it, you can chop it to a point, you can whittle it to the point. I just do some chopping to get the big chunks out of the way, and then I'll just whittle it down real quick to a point. That's it. Okay, you got a point, you got a 7. This is going to drive on the ground. This piece is finished. Do nothing else with it. this is your trigger. We're going to put 2 7 notches. One about 1 inch down or so here. I'm sorry. The whole rig is only 2 7 notches. Come down about 1 inch and put a 7 right here. Okay, that's all you need to do. Now, I mentioned batoning. I'll show you some batoning. Come down about 1 inch, right there. Grab your baton. And that's about it. This ain't real difficult to do. Fairly easy. Doesn't take a whole bunch of effort. I'm gonna clean this end up a little bit. This is the Twitch snare. Okay. Now, see that 7? This will hook in here. But that'll hook in right there. Now you see I need to take a little bit off this edge just so the receive end is hitting on the bottom here. So I'll just take a little bit off that edge. No problems, no worries. That's it. Now, you're gonna fix a snare. See, that's a whole lot prettier right there. You're gonna fix your snare wire to this, and a cordage up here. So what I like to do is I like to use my saw and just score all the way around in both spots, just to make sure everything's biting good. It's just a little bit of added insurance. So let's just do that real quick. Again, you'll see what I mean. You're scoring right below the 7. Or above it, depending on which way you're looking at. But if your 7 is here, it's right below it. And then up here I do one for the cordage to sit in. Will your snare work without this? Yes, it will. But you got to remember, snares and traps are only about 2% effective. So you want the ones that you've got set to know that they're working, because snares and traps will work when you're not working. So I just want to make sure that I'm not going to lose any cordage or anything like that. I want to make sure that the cord doesn't pull off a snare, and when the animal is actually snared, that he can't just yank, twitch and yank and pull it loose. Okay, y'all see what I done? Okay. Grab your snare wire. First thing, go to the end, make a little loop, like so. Twist it together. All you're looking for is a tiny hole. That's all you need. Just like that. Take your other end of your snare wire, run it through the hole. There's your snare. Okay. Your loose end. All you want to do is go around your trigger, go around your trigger, all the way around it, and then twist it together. That's all there is. See that? See how the wire kind of seated in that little groove that I cut right there? I can't remember if I said it. This 24 gauge floral wire. Now you're going to take your cordage. Here's your cordage. Take your cordage and tie a clove hitch right in that groove. The reason that I like clove hitch knots is, if you don't have any cordage and you're using natural cordage, you use a clove hitch. That way it's cinching against itself and you're not putting any 90-degree bends. Not putting any 90-degree bends whatsoever in your natural cordage. That becomes a weak spot for the cordage. See how it's setting that little cut I made. Okay. How to put this in the ground, how to set it up, and use the trigger. Now I'm going to zoom in to the ground so you can see it. So, be back in a second. Okay, y'all. Now, this is a game trail that I've used numerous times, but you don't want to sit there and put your hands all over everything. Okay. My engine is over here to my right, so I'm going to take the anchor and go ahead and put it in the ground with the 7 facing the engine. Okay. Good and stout, it ain't coming out. Here's the trigger we just made. It's gonna hook in right there. This will go to the engine. Here's my snare. So let me grab my engine. I'll be right back. Okay, here's my engine. Alright, here's the sapling. I want this to be vertical of my engine. Quick note, do not, once you're setting this up and you're setting and tying it, do not get your head over the engine. If you lean forward over the engine, this thing pops loose, it'll put a knot on your noggin. Okay, so I'm here. I want this vertical, so somewhere along in here looks like a good spot. I'm gonna tie this real quick. I'll show you the tie and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my trigger set, and you want it set right on the pretty much very edge. You don't want that thing sunk in where it's difficult for it to trigger. With the help of my little skunk monkey here, I'm going to show you how this works. Animal comes bebopping through the trail, and he runs his head through that and there he goes. That's how it works. It works very fast, very effectively. Snares and traps only have a 2 to 3% effective rate. So you want to do a lot of these. As much cordage as you have, do them. As much snare wire you have, do them. When you are building this, I use a little bit extra cordage. I just put a clove hitch on my engine. This is it. You built this at camp. You walk into the woods with this. Find a game trail. Take the top out of a sapling so you got just full spring. Set this up on the game trail. And then you want to create a funnel using a stick and some debris. You want to pile up debris on both sides. Don't use your hands, use a stick. Build up debris on both sides of the game trail to create a funnel that funnels the game right to your snare. Okay? Remember, you are in their living room, they're not in yours. They know when something's disturbed, so you need to make it as scent-free, as human-free as possible. Okay, so just walk in, set it, set your funnel, and get out. Go do another one. Okay? Thanks for watching. It's another tool for your toolbox. All right, till next time.